Good evening and welcome to another off-season edition of Gridiron Weekly. We're back for another week. I hope you didn't miss us too much. So we're in the off-season. We all know we're in the off-season. And we're going to talk a little bit today about the upcoming NFL draft. And at the end, we're starting off our 2025 year of predictions. We're going to pick the 6 UFL games from the inaugural weekend this weekend, their opening day weekend. We're going to pick 6. Get your pens and pencils ready. Turn off the microwave. Put the kids to bed. Drink a little something if you want, but you're going to make some money because these guys are good. And I mean good. Welcome to William and John. How are you, gentlemen?
Good, Edward. How are
Doing
you?
good.
I'm doing well. Ready to talk some football. I've got the Bears, I got Pitt, and I got Legos. So how can we go wrong tonight, huh? No way
right.
we go wrong tonight. So
No way.
No way.
No
So
way.
let's get into it. So
Let's do
we
it.
have, as identified in the one of 10,000 mock draft simulators, we got a bunch of quarterbacks out there. So I'm just going to I'm going to go through the top 5 that are listed in order. We're going to break down each one and think the best fits that they will be in the draft. So first one we have is Cameron Ward out of Miami, Florida, quarterback. Well-traveled, Washington State, University Incarnate Word. So the guy's been a lot of places. Shedeur Sanders, Jackson State, Colorado. Then you have Jalen Milroe, Alabama. And then you have Jackson Dart. He was a USC quarterback, and then he played in the SEC in Ole Miss. And then you have Quinn Ewers, started off at Ohio State, just took him for $1 million, and that was about it because he left there and he went on to where the eyes are upon us, Texas. The eyes are upon us. So we're going to start off, and we're going to talk about Cam Ward, who seems to be the overall number 1 quarterback, by all consensus, the number 1 quarterback in this draft. We're going to start with William. William, what I want to do for you, I want you to tell me the best fit you think. You got 3 jobs here, Billy. Best fit, best NFL comp, and what you like about the quarterback. All right? That's all you got to do. 3 things. So let's go. Take it, Billy. And I'm taking notes, Bill. So
okay, so the best fit for the team. I'm going to go with the Titans because I think they're going to take him. Everything really points to them taking him. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Titans. What was the second?
Well, by the way, I'm going to interject with questions as well. So,
okay.
Billy, my first interjection to you is you're the GM of the Titans. You're no longer Rand Carthon. I forget who they have now. But you're the GM of the Titans. What will, for lack of a better analogy, what will set your excitement button in your head off as far as trade compensation for that number 1 overall pick? What would you look at and go, oh, my God, I can't pass it up. This is so much better for our franchise. What would that package have to look like?
For Cam?
Yeah. Picks, players, anything. What do you think?
I don't know. It would have to be.
Okay, I'll give you a scenario then. A scenario.
Yeah.
Let's go with I'm going to come up, and I'm going to be. We'll start with the easy one. I'm the New York Giants. I want to come up 2 spots, right? I want to go from 3 to 1. There's a bit of precedent set there, so I'm going to give you my 3rd overall pick. I'm going to give you my number 2 this year, and my number 1 next year. Do you take the deal?
Yeah, I think you probably do. I would do. Yeah, I would definitely. If I was the Titans, I would take that deal. Sure. Yeah. Listen, I am not. I don't know. To me, when I look at Ward, he's an unorthodox, quarterback. And what I mean by that, he's ultra confident. He has a decent, mentality to be a pro. But I'm going to tell you right now, and you talk to anybody who knows anything about quarterbacks, his fundamentals are terrible. He's not a very good fundamentally sound quarterback. And I tell you what, that could come back to bite him. So,
okay. So, Billy, what quarterback in the NFL does he remind you of?
Honestly, he kind of reminds me of. I think he has slightly more talent, but I would say Anthony Richardson would come to mind.
Wow, that's an interesting comp. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Now, tell me what you like about him, Billy. What are one of the best attributes that you've seen in his college days, in his pro day, and his go ahead.
He's a big game quarterback. very confident. He's pretty outspoken. I was surprised how well, he's outspoken and well spoken. Let's say that too.
Yeah.
Um, but
Everything I've heard. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. All right, John, we're coming to you, brother.
Yeah.
Cameron Ward, talk to me.
He reminds me of Caleb Williams a little bit. I got a feeling that he doesn't like to take, he takes too many sacks, I guess. I mean, he believes that he can do anything. I think he has that, and that will come back to bite you in the NFL, of course, because you can't. But that's my thing about him. I think he's ultra, ton of confidence. He thinks he can do anything. He's always looking down. He's always looking downfield, right? But he'll take a lot of sacks. And I think in the NFL, of course, that will be like I say, that'll be an issue. So he reminds me of Williams a little bit.
So do you think he's a running back who can throw well or a quarterback who always looks to throw?
Well, I think he's a quarter. I think he always looks to throw. I do. I think he's a thrower. I think he's a quarterback to me. And when I look at him, man, there's been games I so impressed. Like I think he's the best. We used to go back and forth. Remember how we would do our rankings, and there was some times where this guy just to me I thought was going to be sure I'd want him right now. Give me him immediately. But then you see what he is. But I do think he's a thrower first for sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna come up from the Raiders. I'm at number. Where are the Raiders?
6.
Yeah,
6?
I'm at number 6. I'm gonna give you this year's. I'm gonna give you my 6th overall pick this year. I'm gonna give you Michael Mayer, tight end, and I'm gonna give you next year's number 1. Do you take that?
So I get 2 number 1s and that tight end.
Yeah,
from Notre Dame.
Baby Gronk.
I'd like to get a second from you if I could, and then I would. I mean, I think that would make me a little happier too.
All right, I'll give you number 2 next year, not this year. Next year.
You'll give me a 2 next year as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yes, I'm doing it. I absolutely. You got to do it. You need more players in Tennessee. So yes, doing it.
Fascinating. All right, we're up with you now, John. We're going to go to the number 2 ranked quarterback from the consensus of everyone. It is Shador Sanders. Started at Jackson State with his dad and then went on to Colorado. Same thing. Where do you think he fits? First of all, how far do you think he drops, or if he drops at all in the draft? What do you think the best fit is? And a comp. Go ahead. We'll start with you, John.
He's not going to drop because everyone needs a quarterback. These teams that need a quarterback, they're going to want.
All right, I'm going to give you a scenario. Yeah. So let's say Tennessee does take Cam Ward. By all accounts, Cleveland is not taking a quarterback. They look to take probably Abdul Carter. I think Abdul Carter.
They're going to take Abdul Carter
because he didn't work out. He's not going to work out his pro day. He's still rehabbing. So say that happens. You're New York. New York has Tommy Cutlets. They have Jameis Crabman Winston, and they got
Russell Wilson.
Russell Toxic Positivity Wilson.
Yep. Let Russ cook in New York in the Big Apple,
and he's going to cook maybe with the wide receiver corner. Do you think New York takes him?
I think they would. Yeah, I think they would. Really? Sure, I would if I was them. I'd want a quarterback at this point if I'm the Giants, and especially if I'm Dayball. He needs something to begin to mold, because it's certainly going to be Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston and Cutlets. Forget it. But I'm thinking that saves Dayball. You bring the guy in. It reminds me of, not that he's like, because he's smaller. He's certainly not like Allen. But give me that rookie. I can fix him. I can do whatever. I'll make him a star. Bring him to me. I'm Dayball. I can do it. And I think they do. I think they bring him in. I think they bring Sanders. I think he brings a lot of, obviously, what he brings with him. I've said this a million times. The only fear I have of him, because they're all the same size, by the way, if you've noticed. Everyone's 6'2", and everyone's 215 to 230, whatever. They're within 15 pounds of each other. My only concern is its maturity. I don't know. Just when I see, like you said about Cam Ward, Bill, I think the opposite of Sanders when he's on the microphone. He just seems very immature to me.
Yeah.
But, I don't mind how he plays on the field. We know he takes a beating. He's kind of accurate. He's somewhat, there's things there. I just don't know about the
He's
maturity level.
75%, almost
Yeah.
75% in college, but that's college. And
Yeah.
first of all, I forgot to ask you, do you like him as a quarterback?
Nah, not really. Like I would love to have someone be asking me to come up if I'm the Giants, me, and someone wants to get him. I'm loving to make a deal. I'm loving to get an extra first, give me some seconds, do whatever you want to do to get him. If someone really likes him.
Okay, so the New Orleans Saints are sitting at 9.
Yeah.
They want to come up to 3. So I'm going to give you my first overall pick. I'm going to give you my 3rd this year, and I'm also going to give you a 2 next year.
So I'm getting 2 number 1s in this game. In this one,
now you're getting a 1 this year, 3 this year, and a 2 next year.
Man, I may be upset with that. I probably want another 1. I like that extra. I want that 1 next year because then when I need a quarterback next year again, you aren't going to be good probably. So I'll have that. I'm not going to be good either. So I'm going to have a 2 top 10 picks. I think I'd need that to do it because I'm going to need a quarterback for sure.
Right.
So I might reject that and I'd want another number 1 from someone. I'd want 2 number 1s for someone to move up to get their quarterback. Do I like Sanders? Nah, not really, but I don't know. I mean,
he reminds you of in the NFL. What's a good comp for him?
What's a good comp for him?
It's tough because I don't know what his 40 time is. I don't know if he did it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who in the hell. Bill, jump in if you think of anybody. I'm trying to think of who I would give him.
I think he kind of reminds me of the guy that plays in Dallas.
Dak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Athletic, maybe.
Yeah, a little more athletic. I can't. I have a hard time with him. I don't.
He kind of reminds me of a Jordan Love almost, kind of, maybe in a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah. More athletic for sure, I would think.
Right.
Man, yeah, it's a tough one with him. I don't know what to think of him, guys. Either.
I'd even throw in Justin Fields. Maybe you could even.
Well, that's a good one, Billy.
Yeah, that's a good one. Maybe a better thrower than Fields. Maybe. Yeah. Hopefully, for his sake.
That's a pretty darn good one there, Billy. I like that. Yeah.
He's a good quarterback if he's Justin Fields and can be accurate.
Right.
Jeez.
For years, yeah. All right, Billy, what are your thoughts on Mr. Sanders?
Well, I tell you what, he's slightly below average in stature. I would say even arm talent, really. But when you look at Colorado and you look at his stats, he took care of the football. Not a lot of turnovers. Tough as nails. I mean, the kid got murdered last year. I mean, some of the hits he took
2 years running. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
so he can take a hit.
We know he can take a hit. I would say another thing that I've noticed about him is he's pretty cool and calm and collective under pressure. When the game's on the line, doesn't seem to phase him. That's a good
good trait to have. All right, Billy, where's he go?
I think he's going to the Raiders.
You think he's going to fall to 8?
Yeah, I think he's going to go. 6. I think he's going to go to the Raiders. If
he gets past New York, it's New England.
I don't see him going to New York. I don't think New York would. I really don't think New York's going to.
I don't think they like him.
No, and I just don't think that. I mean, God, they're there's a lot of other things that they need.
Here's another question for you, Bill. I'm going to interject again. Would he be able to handle the New York media when he fails?
No, I agree with John. He's very immature. Doesn't speak that. But I mean, that's.
But you know how that New York media is. I mean,
they'll eat him alive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Can he survive?
No.
And here's the other thing.
That's too much for a young kid to.
And
he's not playing. He can't play year one. Like they're not. You know what I'm saying? Like he's got to sit.
I just don't see them taking him. I just don't see. I think it would be foolish for them to do that. I mean, you signed Jameis Winston, you signed Russell Wilson, you still got Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Russ is going to start there. I do. I think he's going to be the starter.
So I mean, I like the where you guys are going.
Do you think that Dion? I tell you what, this could be a Manning situation.
2.0.
It could be. It very well could be.
Mhm.
I don't know that Dion would look at the New York Giants and say, "Yeah, that's a good fit for my son. That's where my son needs to go." I just don't think that's.
Yeah, they're gonna have a tough time. I don't know how much success he'll have, in this day and age, even though it's not that far removed. It was 2004 when
I mean, he goes to the Raiders. He has. I don't know that
Right.
he's necessarily going to beat out Geno Smith, but he could.
No, I agree with John. He's got to sit. There's no way he's
Right.
ready.
No, he's not ready. Yeah.
But he sits there and he has the ear of one of the owners, who's the goat.
Right.
Right. The goat says, "Dude, you better work your butt off."
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good thing. All right.
Good
So
point.
we're gonna move on. We're gonna go to these two players are tied. There's not a difference in their rankings. They just do it because of this. They both have the same grades. So the first one up is Jalen Milroe. So I like where you guys are going with the whole thing, and I'll give you the scenario here. So Cleveland picks first, Giants pick second in the second round, right? So Jalen Milroe, and I'm just going to read off the order. I don't think he goes to the Jets. Carolina's set. You think he goes to the Saints? Billy, you start, Billy, because this is your.
I think he could go to the Saints. Yeah, that's my first. That was my first landing spot for him.
Okay, the Saints. Okay, and what do you think, Billy? Do you like him? Do you not like him?
Well, I'm going to say this. I think he's one of the most physically gifted quarterbacks in the class right now. I do. I think he is the most physically gifted. That being said, watching him in Alabama, far too inconsistent when he throws the football. Far too inconsistent when he throws the football.
Perfect word to use, Billy.
Yeah, no, just lacks the inconsistency. I don't know.
Okay, so Billy,
I think in a perfect world, you would you if your team, in a perfect world, you would draft him and you would plan to let him sit and develop. But
that's my next question for you.
Yeah.
Do you like him at New Orleans because of what Kellen Moore did in Philly with Jalen?
I do. I really think they're going to take him. I've heard a lot of the draft insiders linking him to New Orleans, and although I don't think that's the best necessarily situation or outcome for all parties involved, but like I said, in a perfect world, I think you plan, you sit him down, you sit him, and you develop him. But
okay, Billy, who does he remind you of in the NFL? Is he a poor man Jalen? Poor man's Jalen Hurts?
I could go. Yeah, I could see Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I mean, I think he's. That's a good. That's a pretty good comparison, I think.
All right, John, you step in there, brother.
Yeah, I think New Orleans is probably. That seems like where I see him going too. I was gonna go with Justin Fields again with this guy. Maybe he could be better, but I get the same feeling about him. The same, I mean, I watched him in the beginning, first 6 games, I guess, maybe. My gosh. I mean, he was at the top of our list.
Yeah.
So
he was at the top of our Heisman list.
Huge boom or bust situation here. If you can let him sit the year and not have to force him into anything, maybe there's something there. But the way it ended was so bad.
He would definitely sit in New Orleans. He would be behind Carr.
Yeah, it ended so poorly for him. But I don't know, man. He is so gifted talent wise and breaks free, scrambles like crazy. Are
we in love with his athleticism more than his passing technique?
Yes, absolutely, for sure.
Yes,
yeah, it's going to be because I mean they sort of already have that player in Taysom Hill, so that I can't imagine them bringing in him in any sort of package like that. So he would truly be sitting there, I would think, for a while.
Yeah.
Behind Carr.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So you're starting us off this time, John. We got another quarterback. We're going to go with Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. What do you think? So here it is. So if it goes the way we think it's going to go, 6 takes a quarterback, 9 takes a quarterback. Then you have a run. Here's your run: Niners, Cowboys, Dolphins, Colts, Falcons, Cardinals, Bengals, Seahawks, Buccaneers, Broncos, Steelers at 21. So then after that, everybody's got a quarterback because they're all in the playoffs. So where does he go? Do you like him, and where does he go?
I like him. Yes, I like him. Same size as Milrow almost. Better
He put up video game numbers. He was on our list as a lot too.
Better quarterback, better. I think I'd rather have him than Milrow. I will say that. I don't think this is as big as a boom or bust. I think I'm going to be good with him. He could sit a year would be nice. That would also be nice if I could have him sit, but pending where he goes, maybe he doesn't. But, would Seattle be interested? I don't even know who the hell Seattle's quarterback is right now.
Sam Darnold.
Player.
Yeah, that guy. So maybe
that guy.
That wouldn't be bad. Yeah, his 3 years, 100 million, though, might be a problem. But Pittsburgh should do it if they can.
Yeah.
I think Jackson Dart would look nice in Pittsburgh. It would cure a lot of stuff. He could sit and watch even, or they throw him at maybe he's good enough and he gets in there. I don't know. But it seems like that's what Pittsburgh, in my mind, you guys know better than me. But I mean, to me, they have a lot of things, Pittsburgh, that I like. It's just they don't have a quarterback now. And maybe he's the one. I don't know what you guys. I would take him at 21.
He's not going to get developed in Pittsburgh. I can tell you that much.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, like Chicago. Yeah, similar.
That's where quarterbacks go to die.
But
so
I mean, I'm just saying it's.
Yeah, no, you're Billy. Those are great points.
I'm just
John. Who does he look like? What NFL quarterback does he look like?
To me, you see, he's a more athletic version of Jordan Love, I think. I would say, and that's kind of spot.
What do you think about a young? Go ahead.
He reminds me a little bit of Justin Herbert. He really does. That's
interesting. Yeah, that's a good one.
Maybe a
I was going to go with the other
little shorter, but yeah, that's a good one.
Billy, I was going to go with the other quarterback in LA.
That's Stafford. Yeah.
Does he remind you like a young Stafford?
He came in a little bit
live arm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, and he's quick. He's not slow. This guy may end up being the best quarterback in the draft. I think possibly better than all the other 3 we just talked about. I like him. If I'm Pittsburgh, please figure out how to do something. Get someone. I don't know.
I like him too. I'd like him on my Steelers for sure. But
all right, Billy, that's where you think he's going to go.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard.
I don't know. This whole thing. Can it end, please? Can it just end? I mean, I just, and no, seriously. I mean, this is getting ridiculous.
It is.
I can't take this anymore. It's just stupid.
Here's what he's going to do, Billy. He's not signing until after the NFL draft because he doesn't trust any teams to not draft a quarterback like what happened to Cousins. If Cousins had waited and signed after the draft, he would maybe had a different year. But he's not signing until after the draft, which is only, by the way, we're 4 weeks from tonight, boys. 4 weeks. 21 days from tonight.
My God, the Buffalo Sabres are beating the Penguins 5-1.
Oh no,
God,
that's only 11 goals, Billy, in 2 games so far.
Yeah, right.
But I would. Are the Vikings probably still talking to Rodgers? Maybe
they are. They said the door's open. They said the door's still open for him.
He wants to go there bad.
John, that team is loaded.
Oh, he has more weapons.
Loaded.
He has way more weapons.
And he just wants to be Favre.
They want to start. They want to start JJ. I mean, they said JJ McCarthy's our guy, but we would leave the door open for him. So I don't see how that's going to work.
Right.
I mean, he's going to be
like how their draft goes. I mean, I don't know how they turn over that unbelievable franchise who's even better than they were last year on defense, younger and better. Yeah. They just signed Jeff Okudah. They got Allen from Washington. They got what's his name?
Hargrave, I think too.
Yes. Yeah.
I know.
Linebacker. They picked up 2 brand new offensive linemen. Got younger there. I mean, I don't know how that they must be seeing something in practice. Because I didn't see
They're
it.
Seeing something, I don't. For the life of me, I don't. And the kids, doesn't have. I mean, I don't know. He may have some durability issues too.
But I rewatched. They showed highlights, and I rewatched him in the preseason game. He really has a goofy throwing motion. If you Google it, it is
6-1. Holy God!
it is he really has an unorthodox throwing motion. He really does. He's kind of a winder as opposed to just letting the ball. But John, I never thought about the Seattle thing. I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pull the trigger in the first round, but that is interesting. Maybe in the second round. Mm-hmm. All right, our last quarterback here.
Whoa! What about my thoughts on Jackson Dart there, Waldo?
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Williams' analysis will be in 3, 2, 1. Go, Billy.
Okay. So, we all know Dart, he was a two-sport athlete. He has baseball background as well. He has I think the kid has good mechanics. I think natural. He's just a naturally good thrower, I think. I think he has playmaking ability. But when I look at it, guys, and I've watched a lot of Ole Miss, and I actually went back and watched some of their games in the last couple of weeks. He was very scheme dependent with them. Okay. I feel like the kid needs a little bit. He needs to have a full field. He needs to have a better full field defensive reads is what I think. He just I don't know. You got to have better. To me,
on that. Expand on
okay,
that.
so he's
scheme. If I'm a coach, tell me what you can do, not what you can't do. Right?
Yeah, I just think that like I don't know. I think with his talent, he needs to open it up a little bit more, like truly attack defenses. Okay, anticipation, ball placement, stuff like that. I think that he was, like I said, he was very scheme dependent. They didn't they didn't really like open it up, meaning like he was very like scheme dependent in Ole Miss. They didn't. It wasn't a wide range of play. It wasn't a big, long, wide range of plays. The playbook wasn't wide open for him, so to speak. I don't know.
I think you're right. I think it was probably by design. I think you're right about that.
Well, sure, yeah. But I mean, I want to see. When you get to the NFL, you have to be able to have full field defensive reads. You have to be able to do that. If you can't do that, you're not going to last in the NFL. Period. You're just not.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen great quarterbacks in college come to the NFL, and that's one of the biggest things. They just don't have full field defensive reads. They don't have it. They can't see the field the way that they need to feel. It moves too fast for them too. You got to be able to do it fast. You got to be able to do it quick.
Yeah, anticipatory throwing.
Right. That's what I'm. Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Now let me ask you about the question before we go on with quarterbacks. Do you think any quarterback goes on day 2? If 4 go on day 1, do you think any quarterback goes on day 2? Because after that, you're looking at Quinn, Will Howard, Dylan Gabriel, Tyler Schick, Riley Leonard, Kyle McCord, Curtis Rourke, and then you get even further after that. Do you think any quarterback goes on day 2?
It would just depend. Who would need one? I guess that's the thing. I mean,
well, you get into day 2 would start off with Cleveland and New York. You figure they would take one.
Yeah, I would think so.
If Dart and Milroe don't go in the first round, and nobody comes to say, Philadelphia, Kansas City, Buffalo, or Washington, to get in the back half of that first round, then I think the Giants are fine because they'll have their pick of Jalen Milroe or Jackson Dart.
Right.
So, and I don't think anybody takes a quarterback after that in the second round because Steelers don't have.
No, they don't. Yeah.
So in the third round, day 3. So this is where I think you get some quality. So we got Quinn Ewers. What do you think of him, Billy? This used to be your darling. What do you think of him now?
Well, much like
much like
Jalen Milroe, he's got the arm talent. It's good enough to get him drafted. His arm talent alone I think is good enough to get him drafted. However, he's inconsistent. He
doesn't read the field. I think he has that issue that you were talking about.
He takes bad sacks, bad pocket management. I've seen him hold on to the football. His footwork, I think, is a little off. Being able to post-snap diagnosis of once again reads. Being able to Like I said,
No, I like where you're going. Here's another question. This is a little bit off topic, still related to quarterbacks. Do you think these college coaches with their automatic watering down and obvious reads, do you think they're hurting? Do you think that's why the quarterbacks that come to the NFL, there's only a few that hit, and most of the other ones need a maturation process? Do you think that's why?
I think it's a big part of it. Yeah, I think it's a big part of it. But listen, every quarterback's going to have flaws, right?
Sure.
I mean, when Tom Brady come out, read what they wrote about Tom Brady. I mean, come on, I mean, there was all negative and very little positive. So, it just it really, I tell you what, it comes down to. You can have all the talent in the world. When you get up to the NFL, everything moves faster, and you have to be able to react faster. You have to be able to it's a totally different, it's a totally different game. And a lot of people don't realize that. Everything moves quicker. Everybody's bigger. Everybody's stronger. Everybody's faster. The game's faster. So you have to be able to the guys that can pick up on that stuff and just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah, are the ones that succeed.
Right. Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Prime example.
Yep. Quick
that kid looked like he was an 8-year, 9-year pro.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Let's hope it continues. So at the top of the third round, the first overall pick of the third round is the New York Giants, and the Browns are 3. So if for whatever reason that gives them, and we're just going to go off a few, that gives them. I mean, John, you know how State for Quinn Ewers, Will Howard, Dylan Gabriel, Tyler Shook, Riley Leonard, and Kyle McCord. That's not freaking bad. Plus Curtis, that's not bad. That's a heck of a third round.
If I could come away with either McCord, Rourke, or Howard, I'd love to be able to bring them in if I'm a GM and have a quarterback, someone who knows how to develop a quarterback. Those guys, the size, some of them. I mean, McCord is. Yeah, I think he reads the probably defense as good as anybody. I would really like to see him, bring him in and let him sit for a year or maybe whatever it takes. I do like Will Howard a lot too. I mean, the size of Rourke and Howard are something that really intrigue me if I'm have the ability and the time to develop them.
Riley Leonard's 6'4" too.
Him too. Yes, another guy. Yep.
Billy, what do you think, Betty? On the third round, I mean, because it's going to be I think it's a lot of John.
I agree with John. Like Kyle McCord, this kid, he's like, I don't know. He lacks the top level arm. I will say that. I don't know necessarily if you'd say he's got the gunslinger mentality, but I tell you what, how many big plays did he make at Syracuse?
Yeah.
I mean, how many? He made some,
Yeah, I
mean, he made some big time throws, and he also did some turnover, some worthy plays as well.
I mean,
but
there's just so much talent in the quarterback this year. It really is. Once you can past those first two, I think it's strongest from the first 3. I think it's strongest from Dart on. I really do. Somebody's going to get a stud.
I'll tell you another kid too is Tyler Show from Louisville.
Yeah.
I like that kid. The only issue with him is he has an extensive injury history. That's the only thing with him. He has the size. He has the arm talent.
Yep.
He's. I think he's probably one of the oldest. What is he? 25, 26? Yeah. But
that's good.
You know what? He's to me his size and arm talent alone is adequate enough to earn him a shot at a backup position for sure.
Absolutely. Yes.
I think Curtis Rourke is another
kid.
He's not bad either. I mean, he's
So
yeah,
I think it's going to be.
He could be a good backup somewhere.
I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, there's some.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you really look at it, there's some talent out there, man. There's another kid who got kicked out. Hunter Deckers. He was from Iowa State who got kicked out for betting. He is a big, powerful dude. 6'2", left-hander, pretty darn good. And my candidate for the I'm sorry, excuse me, for the Taysom Hill job is going to go to the kid out of Montana State,
Mm.
Tommy Millott. This kid is tough
Mhm.
as nails. Watch out for him. Not very big, just about 6 foot, but man, does that kid play hard.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is. But I think there's, I mean, we didn't even talk. I forgot about Seth Hannigan from Memphis. That kid,
Yeah.
That kid, yeah, he's another kid.
Another
How
one.
about Graham? How about Graham Mertz from
totally
Florida?
forgot about him because he got
Another,
hurt.
yeah.
Yeah,
MC. Yep.
I'll tell you something
Big
about
kid.
him. That kid, he has good accuracy. Now he doesn't he lacks the deep ball. He does lack the deep ball.
Yeah.
But that mid-level accuracy, he's right on, man. He's right on. Great decision making. There's short dump passes.
Brock Purdy. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No.
Mhm.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. So.
Yeah. He also, I mean, the kid too at Memphis, Seth Hennigan. I totally forgot about him.
Yeah.
6'3". He's a big kid.
Well, how about Brosmer too from Minnesota?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one. He's
There's
another
so
one.
many. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very deep. It's very deep from 3rd to 7. Very, very deep.
It is.
Hell, Brady Cook even from Missouri.
Yeah.
He's not bad either.
Yeah, he can spin it. I mean, it's going to be a very interesting draft. How it plays out, because I think the draft they all play off of each other. If there's a run at a position, we all know what happens. So if quarterbacks go 1-2, and then the Raiders come back and they're in love with Milroe or Dart, they'll probably take Dart. Then somebody's going to say, "Oh my God, I need to get Milroe." That might be New Orleans, and then people are going to freak out because that's 4 games that's gone, and God knows what's going to happen in the back half of the first round, because a lot of those teams want that 5th-year option to control the player.
Right.
So
Exactly.
it's going to be fascinating. All right, gentlemen, we're going to move on here. We're going to transition, and we're going to go to running backs. I like the running back draft this year. I really do. Tons and tons and tons of players. And Billy's favorite player, I'm just going to guess this, favorite running back is Cam Scatterbo out of Arizona State. He's his Mike Allstott, right, Billy?
Yeah. I like him.
I like that kid. He can play.
Yep.
All right, we're going to start off with John. John, the by far the top back is the guy that we had on our list all last year. We made an argument that he maybe could have, should have, would have, maybe. If he was in the SEC, he probably would have been the Heisman Trophy winner. It's Ashton Genty. Where do you think he goes, and what's a good comp for him in the NFL?
Oh man, where do I think he goes? He could end up with the Bears. I'm not quite sure that's a great idea for them, but it wouldn't shock me if maybe that happened. Yeah, you know what it is in this one? There's again, like the quarterback, there's so many running backs. There's a ton. And then I don't even know how do I measure Genty to the kid from North Carolina, the guys from Ohio State, all of that.
Yeah.
Who do I compare him to? He's 5'9", so he's kind of small, right?
Yep.
He's like a bowling ball. Who do I compare him to? Let me think, guys.
He's 5'8", 211.
My God.
Yeah. That's a thick dude.
Yeah. I don't know. Who do you compare him to?
In today's game or
maybe all time, anytime. I can't think.
I kind of, I don't know. LaDainian Tomlinson kind of comes to mind.
Yeah.
With me.
I like
that's
that.
a good one.
Yeah. I mean, that's just, yeah. So,
but in today's game,
shiftiness,
What about the two backs? The one in Atlanta and the one in Detroit. Think they're quicker than he is? Gibbs and what's his name?
I bet Gibbs is. I think
Gibbs is quicker than him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm his name's escaping me too. God, I was just thinking of him the other day too. What the hell?
Good.
In Atlanta.
Bijan
Robinson.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. Those guys are built a little bit different, but or does he look like a kid up in Buffalo? Cook.
Yeah.
He's not as thick as Saquon, but he's a little bit thicker than those three you just mentioned.
Man.
And really, the way it goes, the Bears are probably going to have the first shot because you figure New England line, Jacksonville line. I mean, Raiders probably quarterback if they can get one. The Jets, who the hell knows? Because his 19-year-old son's going to pick it. Panthers, they have running backs. You have Kamara and Hill, and I mean Barrett's going to have the first shot. So if he doesn't go to the Bears, he's probably going to go to the Cry Boys.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I would think. I don't think San Francisco would take him to back up McCaffrey as McCaffrey's replacement. I don't think it's time for that yet.
No.
But then I don't think he gets maybe the Dolphins. Maybe they add that, but they already have Devon A-Chain. So I don't think they need it there. Colts have Taylor. I don't think they need him. Falcons got Bijan and on and on and on. What about if he's
what about Houston? What about Texans?
They don't pick till really late though.
Yeah.
They don't pick till 25.
I tell you what even if Tennessee might go after him.
Too high though.
Yeah.
They have I was thinking like John was. John said Bengals, and I was thinking that you might be right.
Bengals, Bears.
Yeah, but the Bears are going to have the first legit shot at him. So
yeah,
if he doesn't go to the Bears, it's either Cowboys or Bengals.
Right. Yeah.
7-1 Buffalo. Wow.
Geez.
That's out of control, Billy. All right, Billy. Ashton Genty, what do you like about him? Where do you think he's going?
I mean, incredible speed, vision, balance, strength. That's why I in LaDainian Tomlinson, he really kind of reminds me of him because LaDainian Tomlinson,
I like
maybe, yeah, maybe, I don't know.
I like it, Billy. I like where you're going.
Yeah, Tomlinson was very shifty. I don't know,
Yeah, I like it.
Might be, and they're about the same height and weight too.
Yeah.
Height and weight,
right,
yeah.
Right, yeah. He just kind of reminds me.
That's a good comp.
Here's another thing about him. And a lot, they didn't throw to him much last year, but in previous seasons, he had production catching balls out of the backfield. So don't let that fool you either. I mean,
Yeah.
So,
but I truly think that Chicago's going to have the first shot. If they don't do it, I don't know where he goes after that, Billy.
I think he's in the top. I would say top six or seven. I would say probably he's the top 6 players in the draft right now, easily.
You think he might go to the LA Raiders to pair him up with
Las Vegas Raiders?
I mean, Las Vegas Raiders. Jesus. Yeah. They've changed so many times.
He could. Yeah, he could.
I mean, because they lost running back to
Green
Bay in free agency.
Yeah.
And that gives Geno a solid running back. I mean, he had a good one in
I tell you what, I wish he would have played in a bigger school, better conference, because I think we really would have gotten a real
accurate. Yeah, you're right.
Accurate of how good he actually is. I really believe that. And he probably would have won the Heisman.
Right, we said that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? I mean, it makes sense.
Yep.
Because, I mean, and we said that during the whole thing, that he probably would be even closer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, which would be amazing. I think it would have been incredible. All right, so the next kid we're going to talk about, and this kid can just, simply flat out fly. Omarion Hampton. He can move. He's big. I mean, he's down near almost 6 foot. It's 5'11", 221. He looks really, really good, and he can run. He runs in the low 4.4s. So Billy, you want to start us off? He's the second running back. He's only the 35 on the top 50. Who picks him up, Billy? You think that's a Bengals target? What do you think?
Yeah,
that could be a Bengals target. Yeah, that could be.
Is it a Steeler target, Billy?
I think they're kind of. I don't know. I think they're looking at that Judkins. I think.
Yeah, at Ohio State.
Yeah, even Trayvon Henderson. I don't know.
I don't know if they're third round though.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see the Bengals. Listen, the Bengals need a
he wears number 28. He wore 28 at the.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that the Bengals. What was one thing they lacked last year? You had Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, I said it last year that I mean, Bengals are going to take a running back. Period. Whether or not Hampton goes to the Bengals, I don't know. What else? Who else could he go to?
Do the Cardinals do anything with that? I would think it's possible, running back wise.
Yeah.
They desperately want to wide up, but that's not a bad pick, John.
Hmm.
That's not a bad
Could
pick at all.
could the Packers maybe be looking,
No, they just signed what's his
or
name?
not the not the Packers. I mean,
Vikings.
well, how about the Bears? I mean, the Bears could be looking at him.
Look, it's a little high for him there, but they could get him in the second round if nobody takes him.
Yeah.
The kid
Patriots, they're going to need a running back.
again, they'd probably take him in the second. You're right,
Yeah.
Tilly, but because they pick so high.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are going to be interesting to me about a running back too.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are they going to do? They just they
got nothing.
Well, they have the what's his name?
I say Bengals. I say Bengals. I say Bengals for all the top five.
Billy has spoke.
just
What do you
going
think,
with that.
John?
Yeah, the Bengals make
because
a lot of sense, man. I mean, that makes too much sense. I'd be the Cardinals interest me as to what they're going to do. I feel like they got to do something.
Yeah, they
You know, like all they got is James Conner, right? Connor.
Yeah,
I don't know.
he's
He's old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an interesting. But I thought they would take Tesh McMillan. You know, keep him in state. They're desperate for. We're doing next week, folks. We're going to do wide receivers and tight ends next week.
maybe even the Dolphins. You know,
Well, they got Devon.
they got a chain. Yeah, I know that. But
yeah, and they just let go of Mostert. So
right,
maybe you're right. I don't know. All right, the next one we're
what
going to
about
go
the Jags?
Jags. Well, yeah, they have Travis Etienne. Yeah, you're right. They could, but they're high. That looks like lineman to me. That high. All right, we're going to talk about Caleb Johnson. He's a really good running back out of Iowa.
Yeah.
This is solid. 6'1", 225. Another guy who runs very well. I mean, he is a heck of a player. To me, though, the next couple, you got Caleb Johnson, then you have the boys from Ohio State.
Yeah.
Quinshawn and Travion, and then you have Giddens from Kansas State. I can't believe the kid from Kansas isn't ranked higher. And then you have a couple back-to-back that are very interesting. And plus you have Ollie Gordon the second. You know, you got Norman Scottaboo, and you got one of my favorites, and he's a dark horse, is Bashal Tootin, running a 3.36 or a 3.38. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. But I mean, Caleb Johnson, I think he's a second rounder. And you go in the second round, I think Cleveland needs a running back, right? Yeah. They didn't resign.
Yeah, Cleveland needs yeah, exactly.
And then New York, depending on what New York does in the first round, they could come right back and get one of those running backs, right?
They need They would need
boys from Ohio State would look damn near close to Saquon. They run hard,
right?
Hard runners. So what do you think?
Seattle needs a running back too.
Yeah.
So
yeah. They have 2 second-round picks, Billy.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility too.
Yeah, so, I like this kid, Caleb Johnson out of Iowa. He's he's got that. He reminds me a little bit of Le'Veon Bell. The patience.
Yeah.
The patience.
That's what I was just gonna say. Yep, exactly.
You know, he presses the front side before looking for the cutback. You know, he reads the guard. You know, reads the holes on the front side. You know, before going backside, reads the duos. You know, he does.
And the good thing about those two is that they split the carry, so there's not that much wear and tear on their tires.
Right.
You know,
I
think the second round.
Well, that's pretty much every team anymore. I mean, you just have
except for Genty, they wore the shit out of him.
Right, but I mean, there's that's pretty much where every team's going nowadays is 2 running back system. It's just works that much better.
Yeah, I think that second round's going to be chock full of them. I mean, the Texans, maybe they'll go to backup. I don't think the Ravens might need somebody.
And you notice that a lot now too. The 2 running back system, and also always one that's a good number 4 wideout as well. They can catch balls out of the backfield.
So there's going to be some running back needy teams in the second round. Maybe the Chargers too. I know they just picked up Najee, but they're going to need.
They'll want somebody.
They'll want somebody. Yeah,
they'll want.
Maybe Dallas waits to the second round and they get. You know, they pick up one of these because
that's why I forgot about Dallas. Yeah,
because I think Quinshawn and Travion, I think those guys are studs. I really think they're studs. Those 3 in a row, Caleb, Quinshawn, and Travion, big backs. You know, used to the Brews and the Big Ten likes to run the ball. You know, I think those kids are going to go in the second round. I think, and
Judkins just. you want to talk about a guy that just big runs, long runs.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, week after week. You know.
Yeah. I mean, he truly
So,
does. Right.
And how about against Penn State? How he, they handed the ball while he closed that game out. You know.
Yeah.
So,
and John, you're right.
He can get the tough yards between the tackles. He does all that.
Yeah.
You know.
They're both north. All of them are north of 220.
He can run outside. He's got the long. You know, he can run. You know.
John, how those two do coming out of the backfield for catching? I forget.
I think Henderson was a little better.
Yeah,
in my eyes,
a lot better. Yeah.
You know, Judkins got the 1 year in Ohio, right? Because he was at Ole Miss, I think.
Yeah, he was
before. So I mean, when I look at, I can't. I mean, you know, I was trying to think of. We were just talking Travion Henderson. I don't know why. What is his comparable? Where do you? Because he's small. He's a little shorter than Judkins, but he's big. He reminds me. You know, what he reminds me of a little bit, but we don't know much about him. With the guy from Michigan, Blake Corum. I mean, they kind of make me feel the same way about each other, but Corum hasn't done much.
Corum, he's 5'8". Henderson 5'10.5", 205. I mean, they can just freaking pound the ball.
James Conner,
a little bit, but I think they're shiftier than that. Connor's a power back. I think these guys
Henderson, a lot of screen passes he caught last year. A lot of screen passes,
and he goes on,
follows his blocks well. I mean, he might remind you of. I mean, they both have Saquon in them a little bit, you know. They don't have the speed, but they have I was just so impressed with them. That 1-2 punch, it just makes you wonder why in the heck can they not beat Michigan, right?
Right.
Michigan will stuff them on the run and they can't do anything. Yeah. So I think it's going to be great. And you're right, John. In the second round, Atlanta has the 47th overall, so they're going to have they're going to get a heck of a back if they want it.
Yeah.
Because they're likely Caleb, Quinshon, and Travion are going to be there.
Yeah.
You know, and it goes 6 foot, 5'11", 5'10". So pick what size you want. They're all I mean, Henderson's a little smaller, 205. The other two are 221. But you're gonna have the pick of the litter, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you got Etienne there from Georgia. I don't know what people think of him, but
I really want to know. I mean, my two dark horses are the kid from Virginia Tech, Tootin, because he can return kickoffs and he's fast.
Yeah.
I really want to know, Billy, what's a good fit for Scadaboo, man? Do you think Tampa does it? Has a backup?
He would be perfect in Chicago.
Yeah.
He'd
be good in Chicago.
He's a perfect.
I mean,
Brad Muster relived.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That would be. I mean, he reminds me of he reminds me of Allstott, Billy. He just does.
Yeah, he does. Allstott was a little bigger. Yeah, Allstott was bigger. You know,
but this kid, man, he leaves his heart on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, that playoff game,
Allstott just ran through guys. I mean, he was like trying to tackle an Abrams tank.
Yeah, it wasn't fair when he got the ball.
Right. Scadaboo is somebody the Bears should want because they talk about culture and stuff. You bring that guy in, maybe he just leads by example, and stuff like that.
Effort.
Yeah,
you're going to get 100% effort out of that guy. Where do you think he's going to do well? But he's one to watch. He's one to watch. I think Tootin's one to watch. And how about Ollie Gordon? He was a Heisman hopeful.
Yeah.
He can play too. I mean, then you all go down to the kid from Kansas who remember when they crushed Colorado when they came, and that kid had what yards? Devin Neal. Yeah, 5'11", 215. You know, he had some injury issues, but he's another one. I think, you know, they poo-poo this draft. It's not a good draft. There are some players, man.
Yeah.
We've been through two positions, and there's probably each position is probably 20 deep.
Well, I think it's a better quarterback draft than what they're leading it on. You know, they keep saying about next year. And I agree. Next year, it is a good draft for quarterbacks, but I think this year's good too. I don't see that. I don't know why they're downplaying this year. Like it's,
but next year, Billy, it could be Drew Lar, Cade Klubnik, and Nussmeier from LSU. Because I don't think, I'm telling you, he's not coming out. He's making $10 million a year. He's going to make $40 million before he gets to the NFL. Archman.
Right.
$40 million he's going to make.
I don't know why Ewers didn't stay.
What an idiot.
Yeah, he should have stayed. Of all people, he should have stayed. I was so high up on that guy in the beginning of the year, And then, he was playing easy teams, Colorado State,
Sure.
and then he kind of come down to earth, and you're like,
Well,
I don't know about this
they
guy.
did beat Michigan at Michigan.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and Michigan,
They did go to the big house and
Yeah.
business.
Oh, I also forgot about running back Phil Maffa from Clemson, another beast.
Yeah.
I mean, next year those are the only three that pop out. Somebody always pops out, but those are the only three for next year that I can think of.
Yeah.
I mean, Ohio State's starting the kid that was at Alabama,
Right.
And he's small. He's only 6'1". I was
Right.
shocked by that. I thought he was bigger. But
Yeah.
so potentially you could have 3 quarterbacks next year. But if I'm Arch Manning, there's no chance in heck I come out making $10 million a year. Look what the kid Carson Becky's making $8 million at Miami.
Right.
And that was good for him to stay in.
Yeah.
And not do anything crazy.
Right, because he would have he would have been below all these guys probably, right?
Right.
Yes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's amazing, but I'm glad we got through these 2 positions. We got 3 more weeks. We'll probably get through the big things we need to get through. We'll combine a couple more, but it was a great show, boys, as always.
Yeah.
Excellent job. Great to work with you both. And guess what time it is? Time out for lights out buttons, and we hit our 9 o'clock mark, Billy, for you.